Mr. Chairman, Mr. Co-Chairman, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset I would like to thank the organizers of the conference, including Dr. Vitul Gupta, for giving me an opportunity to share my views on the subject of sleep, aging and metabolic syndrome. The sun has been rising in the east for billions of years, awakening the people who are sleeping in the world of ignorance. Next slide, please. The sleep, aging, and metabolic syndrome is a complex subject, and I will make all efforts to make it simple. And what are the clinical implications of this? Next one, please. The functions of sleep, as you all know, it is a restorative function, it is a metabolic regulator, it is important for memory consolidation, learning, it also improves immunity, and the normal sleep is 7 to 8 hours in the adult, whereas in the elderly it is reduced to 6 hours, plus there is daytime napping. Aging is a complex interaction of genetics, chemistry, physiology, and behavior. Next slide, please. The metabolic syndrome has been recognized since many years and many decades, but the insulin resistance is the core issue in these patients. Next one, please. The insomnia is the most common symptom in elderly, and here insomnia by way of emotional stress and reduced growth hormone results in insulin resistance, which also aggravates the aging process. Next one, please. The sleep deprivation and insulin resistance is important to recognize because sleep deprivation during a single night induces insulin resistance in multiple metabolic pathways. Chronic partial sleep deprivation is common in today's world, and there is also rebound sleep deprivation in elderly because the loved ones come from office very late. Next one, please. The sleep deprivation can be of two types. One is the conscious sleep deprivation, where the subject decides to sacrifice the sleep because of modern lifestyle and extra work, and the unconscious because of underlying sleep disorder like obstructive sleep apnea, which results in cyclical hypoxia and desaturations, and both of them result in the sympathetic stimulation, insulin resistance, and the cardiometabolic effects. Next one, please. We must also appreciate that the sleep deprivation results in the rise of the TSH levels, which are often encountered to be high, mildly high in these patients. This should not draw to the conclusion that they have primary hypothyroidism, but their sleep should be corrected and the test should be done again. Next one, please. The sleep deprivation, as far as the REM sleep is concerned, is also common because the people sleep late and they get up early, and they have the consequences like anxiety, increased appetite, fast eating, binge eating, obesity, hypersexual behavior, and mood swings. Next one, please. The sleep disordered breathing must be appreciated. It has got a big spectrum with snoring at one end and obstructive sleep apnea at the other end. Obstructive sleep apnea is the most important disease discovered in the last 50 years. Next one, please. OSA is observed both in obese and also in normal body weight and low body weight subjects because of anatomical factors, that is the craniofacial abnormalities. Next one, please. In OSA, as you all know, there is a repetitive pharyngeal collapse because of the hypotonia of the pharyngeal muscles. This results in repeated awakening of the patient, or the patient can shift the position of his sleep, and there is a shifting of there is a shifting from the deeper stages of sleep to the lesser stages of sleep. Next one, please. This is to show that there is an interaction between modern lifestyle and the sleep deprivation and the anatomical factors leading to sleep disordered breathing, apneic activity, cyclic hypoxia, and the sympathetic stimulation leading to hypertension, ischemic heart disease, stroke, and also the development of thrombosis. Obstructive sleep apnea is a prothrombotic state. Next one, please. The apneic episode has to get actually terminated, and this at the end of the apnea there is rise in blood pressure, heart rate, and cardiac output, and also increase in the sympathetic tone, and also there is release of the catecholamines, and they have the metabolic effects. Next one, please. The apnea apex results in increased sympathetic excitation, decreased parasympathetic activity, and endothelin release. release. Next one, please. There is a failure to lower systolic blood pressure at night, leading to non-dipping, and this is observed in patients with obstructive sleep apnea. Next one, please. The sleep and aging has a very close relationship where with potential age-dependent risk factors on one side and potential age-dependent outcomes on the other side, with sleep apnea as a marker of physiological aging, and this must be appreciated in clinical practice. Next one, please. The sleep and aging has got a lot of interaction and also consequences. One is that the growth hormone is decreased, which results in adiposity, release of cytokines, and daytime sleepiness, and also the increased prevalence of sleep disordered breathing in elderly, which results in development of insulin resistance. Next one, please. We must ask this question, why we need to recognize obstructive sleep apnea in our clinical practice. Next one, please. The consequences of OSA are hypertension, type 2 diabetes, chronic kidney disease, ischemic heart disease, cardiac arrhythmias, idiopathic cardiomyopathy, stroke, psychiatric disorders. Next one, please. The prolonged convalescence from any disease, dementia, reversible, which can be reversible, erectile dysfunction, normal coronary angiogram with persistent angina, that is X syndrome, then the fatty liver, and the retinal disorders like the macular degeneration, that because the retina is the highest oxygen consuming part of the body, and we were the first to describe this in world literature. Next one, please. The recent reports of association with cancer is also there. Next one, please. Metabolic syndrome, as you all know, the type 2 diabetes mellitus is an important constituent of metabolic syndrome, both in the NCP, ATP3 and IDF criteria. In developing countries, majority of type 2 diabetic patients are lean, and metabolic abnormalities have been observed even in lean subjects. Obstructive sleep apnea affects both lean and obese subjects. Therefore, we can draw the equation between the three. Next one, please. The obesity can aggravate OSA, but OSA itself can lead to obesity. So therefore, this is a chicken and egg story. Next one, please. The clinical presentation can be a classical presentation or a non-classical presentation. We will go into that. Next one, please. The classical are the patient having the complaint of snoring, the choking in sleep, sleep posture changing constantly, and elevation of head while going to sleep. Then patient can have the problem of talking in sleep and also grinding of teeth in sleep and hyperacidity and GERD. Next one, please. The other nocturnal symptoms are nocturia, the dreams, abnormal movements in sleep. They are the parasomnias like the sleepwalking and the perspiration in sleep. Next one, please. There is a non-classical symptoms. What we see are the snoring can be ignored, and it may be a sign of exhaustion and be a sign of the deep sleep, and the elderly may say, I don't snore because the stage 3 and stage 4 is more or less absent, and they may have the rolling on the bed, and we have seen severe OSA patient presenting with insomnia and going to the psychiatrist. Administration of hypnotics and sedatives will be disastrous in these patients. Next one, please. The classical daytime symptoms is excessive daytime sleepiness, and they can sleep anywhere, in the waiting room, in clinics, in the train, in the bus. In the females, there may be kitchen accidents, and persons who are having the driving, they can go to sleep while driving and have accidents. Next one, please. The daytime symptoms are also unable to concentrate, and there is decreased attention. Patient might have morning headaches, which can be due to the cerebral vasodilatation or because of increased amount of carbon dioxide. Also, hypertensive headaches are known to happen, and in the child is found to be hyperactive, and there will be poor performance. Next one, please. The non-classical is that the patient might feel tired, but he may take tobacco, tea, coffee, and keep awake, and they can continue the work, and sometimes they can get angry and they can visit the psychiatrist. They may have depression, the face is tired and confused with hypothyroidism, and the most important is that they cannot reduce the weight in spite of workouts at the gym. Next one, please. In OSA in women, there is more depression, social isolation, amenorrhea and dysmenorrhea, and polycystic ovarian disease, insulin resistance, which is common in obstructive sleep apnea. Next one, please. In OSA in elderly, the insomnia is more common in elderly, and 29 to 67% of older adults with insomnia have associated OSA. Next one, please. The symptoms of insulin resistance, as you all know, they are matching with the symptoms of obstructive sleep apnea during the daytime with increased triglycerides and hypertension. Next one, please. If you put the slide, the earlier slides on this slide, you will appreciate that there are many features which are common between type 2 diabetes and OSA. In fact, if you see type 2 diabetes, you must investigate the patient to OSA because there is a high prevalence of OSA in patients of type 2 diabetes. Next one, please. In type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome and aging, we have also to say that people over 65 years constitute 40% of cases of diabetes, and central obesity is a feature of aging, and fat of central obesity is also metabolically active, and the oxidative stress in OSA also aggravates aging. So therefore, we can draw a lot of connection between the sleep and metabolic syndrome and the aging. Next one, please. There is loss of muscle mass and increase in fat with advancing age, and patients often complain of sudden shrinkage of body frame. The same thing happens in patients of type 2 diabetes, and therefore it can be considered as states of aging. Next one, please. The lean metabolic syndrome was first mentioned by us in 2012 and published in JAPI because the lean persons getting the features of metabolic syndrome except obesity. Next one, please. The story from lean to obese metabolic syndrome can start with the adult developing OSA, then developing insulin resistance, then developing diabetes, then developing weight gain, and there is a transformation from lean to obese diabetes. And the Foster et al. has shown that there is a high prevalence of undiagnosed OSA, 86.6% among obese type 2 diabetic subjects. Next one, please. The aging and OSA are therefore very closely related, and the oxidative stress of the OSA can also aggravate the aging process. Next one, please. The management, the adults management, as you all know, is general measures: treat hypothyroidism, acromegaly, avoid alcohol, sedatives, and sleep on one side and achieve optimal body weight, which is difficult. Next one, please. The main management lies on the use of continuous positive airway pressure CPAP while sleeping. Next one, please. There is OSA when there is insulin resistance, and the use of continuous positive airway pressure improves the insulin sensitivity, thereby giving lot of relief to these patients. Next one, please. The benefits of CPAP is good quality and quantity of sleep, daytime alertness, reduction in healthcare costs in patients, and also there is a cost-benefit ratio, and therefore it is important that we should do the counseling of these patients for using CPAP. Next one, please. This is the patient using the CPAP, where patient is lying supine, and here one can appreciate that all the body chakras are in alignment, which is also giving the good health to these patients. Next one, please. This is the take-home messages. Aging begins at age of 30 years, and there is a complex interaction of sleep, aging, and metabolic syndrome. We need to dissect the sleep complaints, do the polysomnography, which is a gold standard for OSA. There is a high prevalence of OSA in type 2 diabetes, and CPAP improves insulin sensitivity. Next one, please. Finally, the sleep is possibly unconscious meditation, and meditation is possibly conscious sleep. Next one, please. Thank you very much for your kind attention.